yeah. Oh, that was good delivery. Hi DVDers, welcome to another review. Today we're going to be doing 5 reviews in one. These are movies that I just didn't feel needed 5-minute long videos to do reviews on them, so I just grouped them into one, and we're going to be doing that today. If you love this format of video reviews, please like, subscribe, share, and hit that notification bell so you know when I post new videos. Now, let's dive on into it. The Invitation.
The Invitation is a 2022 American super horror film directed by Jessica M. Thompson. The film stars Nathalie Emmanuel and Thomas Doherty. Inspired by the novel Dracula by Bram Stoker, the film follows a young woman who, after her mother's death, meets her family for the first time, only to discover the dark secrets behind them. Originally titled The Bride, the project was under production of Sam Raimi. However, Raimi exited the project due to scheduling conflicts. I think that's bullcrap. I think he saw that this is going to be a shitfest and skipped town before it came out. The Invitation was released in the United States on August 26, 2022 by Sony Pictures Releasing. It received mixed reviews from critics.
I don't know that we have enough time for me to dissect everything that was wrong about The Invitation. I put it in here because I did not want to talk about this movie for 10 minutes because it would have made me mad. The best part about The Invitation was Nathalie Emmanuel, and that was a good thing because she was the main character, which means she was on screen a lot of the time, which means you were captivated by what she was bringing to the table because this movie really let me down. I was so disappointed. I was so hyped up and so excited to see this movie. I went to the theaters, I watched it, and I was kicking myself when I left. It's definitely heavily inspired by Ready or Not. And if you've seen Ready or Not, you know that the story is really good, but the end kind of just lets it down. Now, if Ready or Not had The Invitation's third act and end, it would have been a 10. So for me, The Invitation, they wasted so much time in the beginning, the first and second act, explaining the story and explaining things that weren't really relevant, in my opinion, to the story, that they rushed the end, which was the best act. And so you're dragged on this journey for minutes on end, and then when it actually becomes good and you're okay, here we go, this is what we've been waiting for, it's over like that. And I'm why waste my time? Honestly, this movie, I would say wait until it starts streaming on all the platforms to see it. I would not pay money again to go see this. But on a DVD scale, it's a 4/10, and all those points go to Nathalie Emmanuel for the acting and what she brought to the table. Otherwise, this movie would have been an easy 0 for me. Me Time.
Me Time is a 2022 American body comedy film written and directed by John Hamburg. The film stars Kevin Hart, Mark Wahlberg, and Regina Hall. Sonny, who is played by Kevin Hart, is a stay-at-home dad. He finds himself with some me time for the first time in years while his wife and kids are away. He reconnects with his former best friend Huck for a wild weekend that nearly upends his life. Me Time was released on August 26, 2022 by Netflix to negative reviews.
I think I may be tired of seeing Kevin Hart in roles like this. He was not the pull for me in this. Mark Wahlberg can have my time any day because he's so fun to watch. He's so dynamic in anything that he does. He's not the best actor, but I love whatever he's bringing to the table whenever he brings it to the table. Wahlberg was the draw for me in this movie. I absolutely came to this movie to see him. And that kind of ended up biting me in the ass because he was kind of a main character, but a supporting main character. It was definitely heavily focused on Kevin Hart for this, and I was no, I need to see more Mark. Please bring more Mark on this. It definitely took a weird twist in the second act, not where I was expecting it to go, but it ended the exact way I predicted that this movie would end. So it kind of flatlined after the second act, and I was oh, they went back to zone 1 with this. Regina Hall was probably my favorite actress on this, and it sucked. It totally sucked balls that she wasn't on, she didn't have as much airtime as she should have, because she was fantastic. When you say actors, she's an actress. She knows what she's doing, and I just loved her in this. I loved her character. I loved the arc. I loved everything that she was bringing. I just wish that she had more watch time on this movie. It was also very nice and refreshing seeing John Amos again, because for some reason I thought that he had been dead for a few years. I don't know where I get my information from. I just assumed, I guessed that he was dead. And so when I saw him, I was oh my god, it's John Amos! And I loved seeing him again. The movie had a lot of hijinks and it had some funny moments, but overall, it was a letdown for me. I will not be reaching to rewatch this movie anytime soon. On a DVD scale, it's a 5 out of 10. I'd say give it a watch, but maybe don't expect too much from the movie. Just watch it because it's a Kevin Hart movie and Mark Wahlberg is in it, but nothing more. The Wedding Season.
Wedding Season is a 2022 Indian-American romantic comedy film directed by Tom Dade. The film stars Suraj Sharma, Pallavi Sharda, Rizwan Manji, Veena Sood, Ari Afsa, Sean Clare, and Manoj Sood. Wedding Season was released on August 4th, 2022.
I was very pleasantly surprised by it, I have to say. I watched it because it kept popping up on my Netflix dashboard, and I was like, okay, you know what, might as well, let's just jump into it. And I was really glad I did. The storyline has been done to death. It was not original in any way, shape, or form, but the translation into this movie was really, really done well, and I enjoyed that. I enjoyed the dynamics between the main characters. I loved their relationship, the whole friendship and everything that was going on there. I really, really liked that. The female main character and her sister, I liked that dynamic. And then I loved the female main character and her dad's relationship. I thought the dad was so cool. So wonderful. I absolutely loved him. I think he was my favorite character in the entire movie. This movie scored itself an easy 8 over 10 on the DVD scale, and I will totally recommend that you see this at some point in time. Look Both Ways.
Look Both Ways is a 2022 American romantic comedy drama film directed by Wanuri Kahiu and written by April Proza. It stars Lily Reinhart, Luke Wilson, Andrea Savage, Aisha D, Danny Ramirez, David Cornsweet, and Nia Long.
This was another movie that actually really surprised me. Another one that was popping up on my dashboard. And I have to say, I really, really liked this movie. I've never seen Lily Reinhart in anything where she's the main character. In Hustle, she had more of a small supporting role in that, so she didn't really shine. But this, wow, she came to play. She really did, and I think she did an amazing job. She's actually a really good actress, and I'm just now finding that out. She was effortless, and the way they told the what if storyline was just beautiful, and she did get the guy in the end. Then that just made my heart sing. I was just happy about that at the end of this movie. One of my favorite things was the lesson in this was that it doesn't matter what path your life takes, you will always end up where you're supposed to be, and I truly believe that, and I love that about this movie. I don't have that much negative to say about this movie. It was an easy win for me. It's another 8 out of 10 on the DVD scale, and I definitely recommend that you watch this. The Next 365 Days.
The Next 365 Days is a 2022 Polish erotic drama film directed by Barbara Bielowas and Tomasz Mandy. Serving as a sequel to 365 Days This Day, it is based on the third novel of a trilogy by Blanka Lipinska and stars Anna Marie Cielocka, Michelle Marone, Simone Susina, Magdalena Lamparska, and Ota Sarah.
First of all, I didn't know that this film, the franchise, had a franchise with 3 installments in it. I saw the first 365 Days when it came onto Netflix a while ago, whenever that was. But I didn't know it had a second installment, 365 Days This Day. And then this was the third one. I thought this was the second one. I thought this was a sequel. And then I pull up my research and I'm like, oh, there's one in between. I had to go back and watch that one in between. And honestly, the best way to describe this whole franchise is sex and music, because that's all they were doing. They were either having sex to music or just playing music for music's sake. That's exactly. I feel like it was a movie ad for the soundtrack and sex. That's how I felt throughout this. But because that's all that there was in this movie, I had to dig deep and actually look for something that I could review. And I feel like the second movie and the third movie gave me some stuff that I could talk about. I will say that in between the sex and the music, there was actually some pretty good acting in there. I know, shocked, you and me both. But there was. Michelle Marone showed some acting chops and some depth, especially the second sequel and some in this third one, because there were some scenes where I was like, oh, I believe that. Oh, I believe what's going on there. Oh yeah. Oh, that was good delivery. And I will give him that. I will give him props for that, because he did the work and it showed in those parts. Also, Anna Marie Siekloka really is a good actress, especially when she's acting in Polish. When she's speaking Polish, she was flawless. I loved it. I could watch her and her best friend over and over again because they were actually believable. But when they start translating into English and speaking in English, they lose all form of like emotion. It is so mechanical, and I get it. English is not her first language, and even speaking English for me is difficult sometimes. And it's my first language. I wish that they had just stuck to Polish throughout the entire thing. Polish, Italian, German, and I forget the last one, maybe Spanish that they were speaking. There's a lot of languages spoken in this movie. But I think they should have just kept it a foreign film and left the English out of it, because whenever they translated into English, it didn't work. I guess that won't work because her husband is Italian and then she is Polish. So the only common language that they speak is English. Okay, so I guess it wouldn't have worked, but whenever they were talking in English, it was so mechanical. Even some of the sex scenes, it was like the intro to the sex scene was in English, and I was like, oh! But this movie bagged a 4 out of 10 on the DVD scale because, like I said, it was sex and music, and in between, there really wasn't much going on. I could rate it lower, but some of the acting chops that Michelle Maroon brought into this got him that 4. Also with Anna Marie as well, it got them that 4. Definitely watch at your own risk. I can't recommend or not recommend this movie. It depends on what you like. Thank you for tuning in to videos, and if you love this format, please like, subscribe, share, and hit that notification bell so you know when I post new videos. I'll see you in the next one.